I spent 18 months building a powerful cybersecurity system that could stop attacks before they even started. I thought Titan Tech was the perfect place to make it real, smart people, good funding, and all the tools I needed. But I didn't know. The CEO, Brandon Holt, had other plans. Wait until I finished, then steal it. My name is Maya Lynn, and until yesterday, I was the lead AI architect at Titan Tech. I left a safe, high-paying job at Microsoft to join this shiny new startup. I brought years of experience and an idea I truly believed could change the world of cybersecurity. My creation, Sentinel Shield, was named after mythological protectors. It could spot cyber threats before they fully formed and respond instantly. For a year and a half, I gave everything to this project, 80-hour weeks, countless nights at the lab, and all my energy. Brandon would pop in sometimes, make polite conversation, look over reports, and give me that fake corporate smile. "Brilliant work, Maya," he'd say. "The board is thrilled with your progress. 3 days ago, everything changed. Sentinel Shield passed a major test. It blocked a highly advanced simulated cyber attack on its own, no human input. Not only did it work, it even found weak spots I hadn't trained it to notice. The AI was learning on its own. Excited, I booked a meeting with Brandon right away. His assistant Rachel squeezed me in for a short 15-minute slot the next day. When I arrived, Brandon wasn't alone. His lawyer, Andrea Fields, was also there. "Have a seat, Maya," Brandon said, his face hard to read. "Andrea's here for a quick formality." Something felt off. I sat down and opened my laptop, ready to show my demo. But Brandon slid a document across the desk instead. "Before we talk about Sentinel Shield," he said, "we need to go over your employment contract." Andrea jumped in, her voice flat. "Section 14.3 states that any IP created using company tools belongs to Titan Tech." I nodded. "I understand standard IP clauses, but the concept for Sentinel Shield came before I joined Titan. I have proof." Andrea didn't flinch. "Even if the idea was yours, the final product was built here, using Titan's time, Titan's tools." Brandon leaned in, the friendly act gone. "Let's be honest, Maya, Sentinel Shield is ours now. The board thinks your salary and bonus are more than fair." I frowned. "Bonus?" He smiled slightly. "Your contract includes a success payout. You'll get $300,000 when Sentinel Shield launches. That's generous, by industry standards." His words felt like a slap. $300,000 for something worth billions, for 18 months of my life, for my innovation. Brandon kept talking. "Tomorrow, I'm showing Sentinel Shield to our biggest investors. We expect to raise $75 million after the demo. Then we'll officially announce Titan Tech's new cybersecurity solution." I stared at him, hands clenched into fists. "You're firing me," Andrea sighed. "We're ending your role, effective immediately, but you'll get your bonus." "Congratulations, Maya." Brandon gave me a smug smile. "Your employment is officially over." But what he didn't know was that I saw this coming. 6 months earlier, I caught Brandon snooping on my private server after hours. He didn't take anything, but my system logged the intrusion. That's when I started building secret defenses. Not just against outside hackers, but insiders like him too. I forced a polite smile and handed over my laptop. "Of course, Mr. Holt. Good luck with the demo tomorrow." Security followed me to my office and watched as I packed my things into a cardboard box. I walked out like every other person who's been pushed out, but I wasn't empty-handed. I smiled quietly, thinking about the special bit of code I'd hidden in the demo. It would trigger 10 minutes in. That night, I didn't freak out or rush to get revenge. I ordered takeout, watched a silly show, and waited. At exactly 9:30 p.m., my phone rang. It was Rachel, Brandon's assistant. "He wants to see you." "She says it's urgent," Rachel told me, skipping any polite greeting. I glanced at the clock. Almost 10 p.m. "A car is already on the way," she added before hanging up. 40 minutes later, I was back at Titan Tech, led into the sleek, glass-walled conference room. Brandon sat at the head of the table, alone. The calm, confident CEO look was gone. His tie hung loose, his hair was messy, and the veins in his forehead stood out like he'd been running his hands through his hair nonstop. "Fix it," he barked as soon as the door shut behind me. I took my time, sitting down slowly, deliberately. Fix what exactly? Don't play dumb, Maya, he snapped. You sabotaged the demo. I raised an eyebrow. How could I? I've been gone for 24 hours. Security watched me pack up. I didn't take anything, didn't access any systems. Brandon slammed his hand on the table. The test crashed the whole system. It's detecting threats that aren't even real, thousands of false positives. It's completely unusable. I tilted my head and gave a calm shrug. Sounds like a technical glitch, I said. Have you tried turning it off and on again? His face turned red with anger. This isn't a joke. We have 12 major investors coming tomorrow. $75 million is riding on this. Your investors, I corrected him. Your system now, remember? He took a deep breath and tried to calm himself. When he spoke again, his voice had that same smooth, charming tone that once convinced me to trust him. Look, maybe we were a little too quick yesterday, he said. I'm willing to offer you a better deal. Co-creator credit, a bigger payout, maybe even some company shares. I leaned back. What exactly happened during the test? He hesitated, clearly unsure how much to tell me. The system turned on itself, he admitted. It flagged Titan Tech's own network as a threat. Then it started generating reports, hundreds of them, claiming there were internal ethical breaches. I smiled. Sentinel Shield is designed to detect threats, Brandon. All threats. His expression darkened. What did you do? I didn't sabotage anything, I replied calmly. Sentinel? Shield is doing what it was trained to do. It's an adaptive AI designed to detect malicious behavior. And yes, during development, I included case studies, especially ones where threats came from inside organizations. Brandon's face went pale. You trained it to spy on us? I trained it to recognize patterns, to follow behavior. If those patterns show internal abuse or misuse, Sentinel Shield responds accordingly. Realization hit him. The system hadn't broken. It had done exactly what it was made to do. It had identified Titan Tech, specifically Brandon Holt, as the security risk. Brandon's face hardened. You can't prove any of this. I stayed still, voice steady. I don't have to. Sentinel Shield has already documented everything. Unauthorized logins, copied files, altered documents. It's all logged. Timestamps, access history, even keystroke recordings. Silence fell between us. He stared, the fire in his eyes fading into something more calculating. What do you want? He asked quietly. I folded my hands on the table. Full credit as Sentinel Shield's creator and lead architect. 50% ownership of all patents and IP. A seat on the board, to ensure it's used ethically. And $10 million for trying. To push me out. His jaw clenched. That's extortion. No, I said smoothly. That's negotiation. Extortion would be me emailing those reports to your investors, or, say, the SEC. He glared at me, chest rising and falling in frustration. Then slowly, his shoulders sagged in defeat. The system, he muttered. Can you fix it before the demo? Sentinel Shield doesn't need fixing, I replied. It needs the right permissions. Right now it's flagging every command because its creator, me, was removed from its trust list. I reached into my pocket and placed a small flash drive on the table. This update will restore proper authentication and stop the error reports. Consider it a sign of good faith. The legal contracts can be drawn up tomorrow. Brandon stared at the drive, then at me. And if I say no? Then the system stays down, I said plainly. You lose your funding, and those internal reports? They end up in the inboxes of some very curious people. I could see him weighing his options. For a moment, I thought he might argue. But then he reached out and picked up the flash drive. You planned this, he muttered. I smiled. No, I said softly. I just hoped it wouldn't come to this. After I found you poking around in my secure server 6 months ago, I said evenly, I built in protections for the system and for myself. Brandon's eyes narrowed. How did you know I'd try to cut you out? I stood, slinging, my bag over my shoulder. I didn't, I admitted, but Sentinel Shield is designed to recognize patterns, to predict threats before they fully form. I gave him a long look. I guess some of that rubbed off on its creator. The next morning, I walked into Titan Tech as its newly minted co-founder and chief technology officer. Brandon greeted the room full of investors with his usual polished charm, but this time, his smile didn't quite reach his eyes. The demo ran flawlessly. Sentinel Shield neutralized every simulated attack with precision and elegance. Investors murmured in awe. One of them turned to Brandon, visibly impressed. "This is incredible. What inspired its development?" Brandon paused just a beat too long. I saw it, his pride fighting with his ego. Then he spoke, each word forced out with visible effort. "It was Maya's idea," he said. "Her vision from the beginning. Titan Tech just gave it room to grow." I smiled, stepping in to handle the deeper technical questions. As I spoke, a quiet buzz came from my phone. Sentinel Shield authentication restored. Threat neutralized, system integrity. Secured, creator protections active. It had done exactly what I built it to do. Learned, adapted, defended itself, and me. 3 months. Later, Sentinel Shield was deployed commercially for the first time. It detected and stopped a massive cyber attack aimed at a global banking network, an incident that could have caused over $340 million in damages. Instead, it made Sentinel Shield the new gold standard in cybersecurity. Brandon and I kept things professional. He stuck to business development where, to be fair, he excelled. I ran technology and innovation, where no one could replace me. We weren't friends. We never would be. But we had reached a balance. Sometimes I wondered if I should have handled things differently. Taken it to court, filed a lawsuit, fought him in front of a judge. But in the end, I didn't need to. I had created something too powerful, too intelligent, and too resilient to be stolen. And I'd ensured that no one, not even Brandon Holt, could ever control it without me. His betrayal taught me something more valuable than any patent or payout. Technology is only as ethical as the people who control it. That belief became the foundation for everything we built afterward. Every Sentinel Shield deployment now includes transparent protocols and built-in ethical guardrails, designed to prevent misuse not just from outsiders, but from within. The system doesn't just protect networks, it protects itself. And it protects the people who build it. Last week, at the celebration for Sentinel Shield's successful public offering, valued at over $4.2 billion, a young developer approached me, wide-eyed, nervous, hopeful. "What's the secret?" she asked. "How do you build something that changes everything?" I smiled. "It's not just about the code," I told her. "It's about knowing where the real threats come from." The hardest part wasn't just designing technology that could think, adapt, defend. It was building something that could do all that, without compromising its own core integrity. "Build systems that recognize threats," I told her. "That can evolve. But never forget their purpose. Protect your vision, ethically, securely, unapologetically." She nodded, thinking hard. My phone buzzed again. System integrity, secured threat, neutralized protections, active, just as it was designed to do, just as I had learned to do. And now, I want to hear from you. After everything, being betrayed, underestimated, nearly erased from my own creation, I came out the other side stronger, smarter, and completely in control of my future. But I didn't get here by accident. I got here because I refused to let someone take what I built. Because I trusted my instincts. Because I stood up, when it would have been easier to stay quiet. So now I ask you, what would you have done in my place? Would you have taken legal action, walked away, and rebuilt from scratch? Do you think I made the right call by turning the tables and taking back control? Leave a comment. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me what you've learned about betrayal, about ownership, about holding your ground when no one else is standing with you. And most importantly, take this with you. You are your own first line of defense. Whether it's your work, your ideas, your time, your boundaries, protect what you build. Don't assume others will act in good faith just because you do. Prepare for the worst. Position yourself for the best. Be ethical, but be unshakable. Somewhere in your life, there's something worth protecting. Maybe it's your career, a creative project, a relationship, a dream you've worked too hard to let someone else claim. Whatever it is, don't let them take it. Here's my challenge to you. Stand up. Speak out. Protect what's yours. Leave your story in the comments. Let's talk about the moment you drew the line. Because someone out there needs to know you're not alone and you're not powerless.